Hey ladies and gents, welcome back to another video. My name is Kukuletu, the owner of talkinmusic.com, and today I'll be talking about audio compression. Now, back in the days when an orchestra was performing, there was always a guy on the mixer adjusting the volume during the entire performance. And then someone finally decided that they can build a machine that will do all those volume moves automatically. So that's when compressors were created. Basically, to show you visually what a compressor does, I'll write an automation to give you a visual scenario of what a compressor will do to your audio performance. So check it out.
It doesn't matter how far I may be, you know I'm home. I was there like a start, always lives in your heart. So let's enjoy our time. I'ma lean on you, you lean on me, so good when we're together. But now you should know I won't lose my way. Your love always saves me. Your love always saves me.
So basically, this is a much more visual explanation of what a compressor does to your audio performance. So as you can see, manually, this is not even accurate at all. So that's why you definitely need a compressor, because as you can see here, I decreased in the wrong place because I'm human. I'm not a machine, so I'll never get the stuff right. But here I did get it a bit right. But this is really time consuming. That's why a compressor will definitely be the best option to do this job for you. So basically, a compressor controls dynamic range. Dynamic range is simply your quieter parts versus the loudest parts of an audio signal. So let's undo all this stuff and then open a compressor. So now that you know what a compressor does to an audio signal, then let's check it out with and without the compressor. This is without.
It doesn't matter how far I may be, you know I'm home. I was there like a start.
So when the entire mix is playing, this part will be too loud and you won't be able to hear this part because you won't be able to get the volume right. Let's say you're listening to the entire mix and then when this part is playing, you increase the volume so that you can be able to hear the vocal performance during the entire song. But when this part comes, it will be too loud, so you'll decrease your volume, and then when you decrease your volume, you won't be able to hear the other quieter parts. So that's why it will be difficult for you to get the vocals to sit well in the mix. That's why compression is really important to make sure that the vocal is consistent in volume and it controls the dynamic range so that the vocal can sit well in the mix without other parts getting louder as compared to other parts. So that's what a compressor will do. Check it out with compression.
It doesn't matter how far I may be, you know I'm home. I was there like a start.
Check it out in the mix. This is without.
It doesn't matter how far I may be, you know I'm home.
As you can hear what I was talking about, this part gets too loud, but check it out with compression.
It doesn't matter how far I may be, you know I'm home. I was there like a start.
If you can't hear that, then keep repeating that part. Rewind the video and check it out over and over again. You'll definitely hear it, that these parts get louder in volume while this part gets decreased in volume so that you can be able to hear both sections without too much volume change. So let's check out what a compressor does to a bass sound. Let's check out, let's solo the bass. Now I'll first play the bass without the compressor engaged. Check it out. As you can hear, the bass becomes quieter in some parts and then it becomes loud in other parts. Especially in this section here, it becomes quieter, but this section becomes too loud. So without compression, the bass won't sit well in the mix. And then let's check it out with. Now you're able to hear each and every note that is being played on the bass performance without volume changing that much. But obviously, you still have to keep it natural. You don't want to make the compressor too obvious. So that definitely helps the bass sit well in the mix. Check it out in the mix. I want you to listen to this section when I disengage the compressor. You'll hear that you won't be able to hear it much more clear. Let me disable the compressor. Check out this section here. As you can hear, you can't tell which notes are being played on the bass, especially this section here and this section here. You are unable to tell which notes the bass is playing. So with the compressor engaged, the compressor will make sure that these parts are increased in volume while the loudest parts are decreased in volume so that the entire performance can be consistent in volume. That way, the bass will sit well in the mix. Check it out. That's a huge difference. So let's check out the compressor on a snare drum. Now I have my favorite compressor here, but I think I should, let me use a stock plugin so that, because it has much more parameters as compared to this, you just use the threshold and that's it. So it will be a bit hard to explain what a compressor does to a snare with this compressor. I'm not saying it's a bad compressor, I'm just saying it will be a bit hard to explain what the compressor will be doing to the sound. So let's check out the snare. I'll play the snare without the compressor. So as you can hear, it's a well-recorded snare, nothing special about it. When you use a fast attack and a fast release time, then what you'll get is a, check it out. When the settings are like this, it's just taming out the loudest transient. So the compressor is working only on the transient or the attack of the snare drum when you have a fast release and a fast attack time. And then when you have a much more medium to fast release time, then check it out. As you can hear, all the compressor is doing here is just decreasing the volume of the snare. That's all it's doing. And then if I open up the attack a bit and then decrease the release time, Now what the compressor is doing, it's not affecting the transient and the attack of the snare drum. It's only affecting the decay, which is the release time. That's how you get a much more punchy snare. So it's not about which settings are right or which settings are wrong. It's all about what do you want to achieve. So let me give you another example of the bass. I want to show you something with the settings just to prove that it's not about right or wrong settings. It's all about what do you want to achieve. So if I put the release as fast as possible, you'll hear that the bass will become more funky and it will have a much more pumping sound. Check it out. But then if I increase the release time, it will be much more smoother and softer. Check it out. As you can hear, it's much more smoother. So it's not about right or wrong settings. It's all about what do you want to achieve. So I hope that explains how a compressor affects your audio signal. So my goal was not to explain the parameters. I was just explaining and showing you how a compressor affects an audio signal. Because honestly, there's a whole lot of other tutorials out there that explain what a ratio is or what a release is, attack. You can even find that stuff on Wikipedia. But how does that stuff help you use a compressor? Because once you know how a compressor affects a signal, then that's when you can use it much more effectively and know what you want to achieve. Just like I showed you with different settings on this compressor. When you have a fast attack and fast release, you know that you are controlling the transient. If you have a fast attack and a slow to medium release time, you know that you are just decreasing the volume of the snare. If you open up the attack and then lower down the release a bit, then you know that you are creating a much more punchy snare by leaving the transient unaffected and only affecting the decay time of the snare. So it's all about what do you want to achieve with the compressor. And I hope that explains how a compressor affects an audio signal. And this will definitely help you compress your audio signals much better. That's the goal of this video. It's not explaining what attack is, what ratio is, or threshold. This stuff is all over the internet. And me talking about this stuff will just be redundant or recreating content that has already been created for many years, which won't benefit you in any way, guys. So I hope you understand, and I hope you found this tutorial valuable. And if you found value in this tutorial, make sure that you smash the like button. That will be definitely helpful for the entire channel. If you haven't done so, then please make sure that you subscribe, click the notification bell so that YouTube can notify you every time I upload a new video. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below. As always, take good care. We'll talk again soon. Cheers.